The Hunter Biden Ukraine shit is the worst thing to happen to U.S. politics for these conservatives. True. And the everything having to do with the that whole story, bro, it's actually like so unbelievable. It's so unbelievable that Giuliani and Trump called Zelensky begging for dirt on Hunter Biden, told Zelensky to announce an investigation with no proof, got a guy in Ukraine to lie about everything, to tie Hunter Biden to Burisma. That guy has now been either pled guilty to it or he was convicted. I think he pled guilty to lying about it all. All the Burisma stuff started off as a lie from this guy. In order to energize or empower the Republicans to do years and years of investigations into the Bidens and basically come up with nothing. And none of that matters. That's just so crazy that none of that matters. That's just so insane that none of that matters. What the fuck?
Spain is very low. And yet, aren't they a BRICS nation?
What?
They're a BRICS nation, Spain. You know what a BRICS nation is? Well, you'll figure it out. But,
and he doesn't know anything.
And if the BRICS nations want to do that, that's okay, but we're going to put at least a 100% tariff on the business they do with the United States. You know,
like how many things are going wrong in your brain to think of like Spain? So Spain is now in an alliance with Russia and China, or like an economic union or alliance? What do we even, like, how many things are off in your head in terms of like world understanding for this to even be a possibility? Like, what?
Spain is very low. And yet, aren't they a BRICS nation?
What?
They're a BRICS nation, Spain. You know what a BRICS nation is? Well, you'll figure it out. But, and if the BRICS nations want to do that, that's okay, but we're going to put at least a 100% tariff on the business they do with the United States. You know what the BRICS is, right? You guys know.
Brazil,
you know what I'm saying, right? You know what I'm saying.
Thoughts on Biden pardoning his family? Didn't realize they were even in the Republican crosshairs. I think it's fine. Dude, anybody that comes down, they're the only person who I think could ever criticize the Biden pardons, maybe, and even that's a maybe, is Kyle Kulinski. Because Kulinski has been so harsh on Trump that I would grant that. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, this guy's allowed to do it. But anybody else is a fucking virtue signal. Bro, the Trump shit is so unhinged. And they already went after Hunter Biden illegally, like for years and years and years. So him pardoning his family, I think it's fine. Fuck it. I think that's whatever. Legal did it too. Yeah, Legal was not even close to being able to do that. I think it's just insane. Yeah, the optics nerds. Imagine attacking this guy for decades. Not decades. That was retarded. He probably did attack him 20 years ago over something, I'm sure. Imagine attacking this guy for years and years and then pardoning all the J6ers and ending this guy's security detail and saying, hey, listen, if they get him. I like how he ends his security detail playing up conspiracies at the same time, too. They all made a lot of money. They can hire their own security, too. I don't know if you're aware of this, but when Trump says this is an allusion to the idea that Fauci made billions of dollars off of investments related to pharmaceutical companies during COVID, which I don't think there's nothing to substantiate literally any part of that whatsoever. Could you do a quick breakdown on why going after Hunter was illegal? I mean, Giuliani, well, I don't know if there's a law broken here, which is highly unethical. But Giuliani calling the prime minister and saying, hey, I need you to announce an investigation with no evidence is insane. Trump making that call afterwards and then conditioning that investigation on fucking aid, I'm pretty sure was illegal because that was approved by Congress. And that was one of the things that was Trump's first impeachment. And then the fact that all of the Republican investigations afterwards, the Senate committees and the House committees and all that bullshit and all the FBI investigations, the special counsel, all that was all premised on, I believe all of it stemmed from that guy who claimed that Hunter Biden was doing bad things with Joe Biden with Burisma. And that was all based on a lie. And that guy pled guilty. Nobody talks about this. Nobody cares. Hunter Biden investigation start, lie, pled guilty. This FBI informant is the one where all of the Burisma stuff started. Former FBI informant pleaded guilty on Monday to lying about a phony bribery scheme involving President Joe Biden and his son Hunter that became central to the Republican impeachment inquiry in Congress. Alexander Smirnov entered his plea to a felony charge in connection with the bogus story, along with a tax evasion charge stemming from a separate indictment accusing him of concealing millions of dollars of income. But all of this was started on a lie, basically. But was Rudy telling Trump all of this, or was Trump telling Rudy all this? Rudy was definitely taking direction from Trump. Maybe it was Rudy's idea, but I bet it was Trump's. Or Trump is so stupid it could have, but regardless, he was taking direction from Destiny. Trump is so fucking dumb, bro. I wonder if as a member of the press, you could just ask him any questions and he'd bullshit some answer. Mr. President, do you know that Piltover has aligned with Noxus in announcing 200% tariffs on all U.S. goods? Billions of dollars of U.S. goods pass through Piltover's hex gates every day. Probably. Who knows? People are omega lolling. Is that referring to is that a sci-fi thing or 10-year blanket pardons for his family for any crime they did? That seems too much. And why couldn't Trump just make up charges in the next 4 years? Well, he can't make up charges. That's why it's a blanket pardon. That's the point of a blanket pardon. So you can't make up charges. Oh, League of Legends, Noxus. Oh, my bad. It's been a long time. I've been out of the game, okay? This is, I can't say what I want about this because I would be permabanned from everything and the FBI would visit me, but this is absolutely deplorable. Trump says that he is conditioning aid to California following the LA wildfires. President Donald Trump told reporters Friday that he would be conditioning aid to California following the devastating wildfires in the Los Angeles area, demanding the water be released. He also said he wants a voter ID in the state. Quote, I want two things. I want voter ID for the people of California, and they all want it right now. You don't have voter ID. People want to have voter identification. You want to have proof of citizenship. Ideally, you have 1 day voting. But I just want voter ID as a start, Trump told reporters upon landing in North Carolina. And I want the water to be released, and they're going to get a lot of help from the U.S., he added. This is just such an unbelievably disgusting thing to say, but...
Who's doing a great job right now as vice president.
Did you also talk about some sort of a trade or a deal?
Should we get rid of FEMA? One idea that I've flirted with in my head is the idea of being A-OK abolishing a lot of these federal agencies and then just have some blue states come together and make their own. And then it sounds cruel, but just let red states suffer. So if we want to have some form of FEMA, then maybe California, Massachusetts, a bunch of blue states get together and okay, well, we have our blue FEMA. And then when there are disasters, they can send aid and help accordingly. And then when Texas has another, freeze out, or when Florida or Georgia or South Carolina or North Carolina have another hurricane, then they can figure out their own shit. Bro, that was one of the most eye-opening on paper things I'd ever seen. It was the difference between two states who, does anybody know what I'm talking about? The two states where one voted all blue, every county, I think, and the other one had every county voting all red. And it was I think it was Massachusetts versus fucking Louisiana. And it was, holy shit. Do you think Trump will demand a third term? Also, do you think that Israel and Hamas ceasefire and bring the cat back? I don't know what Israel will do. They're in a power position right now. Trump will be too old, I would imagine. Was it Oklahoma? What was the difference exactly? Massachusetts was first in schooling, second in income, first in health. It was just and then the red state was 49th in reading, 53rd in math. They were imaginary states that were outperforming it. It was just the difference in the outcomes of these two states was just unreal. It was insane. Destiny here. Oh, fuck. Was it this? Why is this in Spanish? Thank you. Oklahoma voted unanimously red, I guess. 44th in education, 49th in healthcare, 44th in quality of life, 50th in test scores, top 10 worst poverty. Massachusetts, first in education, second in healthcare, first in quality of life, first in test scores, top 10 least poverty. Jesus. Portuguese? We don't acknowledge that language here. So is TikTok going to get banned? Oh, that's a whole other thing. Bro, there's so much. Are we a week in? There's so much. So all the conservatives flipped their position on TikTok, and now they all like it, probably because they overperformed with young people. the left is happy because all the left were like Palestinian, pro-Palestinian people, so they want TikTok to stay. And then Trump is saying that they have 90 days, but they want like the United States to own 50% of it. I don't even know what the fuck that means. The thing is with TikTok, I think the legal arguments that the government made were strong. That's why I think it survived the Supreme Court case. However, it sucks because if TikTok goes away, I know that it's going to be Zuckerberg and Musk that benefit directly. But the idea of fucking state media owned by fucking Elon Musk or Zuckerberg, bro, kill me. Trump is just not enforcing the law. He's not using any legal mechanism to not enforce it. He's just doing a non-enforcement. I don't know if I agree with that because the law itself had a carve out for the president to like evaluate. So I hope that I can beat this out of your heads. I don't know. Or maybe this might just be a concern troll. I'm going hardcore banning on any concern trolling I see over political shit because I don't know how much of it is real versus just fucking psyopers. Destiny, wouldn't limiting disaster aid to blue states like you suggested be just as disgusting for the same reasons you just said Trump's conditional aid to California is disgusting? No, because he's doing it first. If the other side breaks the norms and they've decided they don't want to play by the norms, then you have to reevaluate your situation. That is a painfully obvious thing that every other person would acknowledge in any situation. If somebody walked up to you and aimed a gun at you and you shot back, there is not a single human being that would go, well, by shooting back at the guy that shot at you, aren't you kind of doing the exact same thing that you accused him of? No, you're not. Balance of payment in millions. Wait, is this accurate? I don't trust any of these fucking graphs anymore. I almost don't want to show it on stream. Is this the difference in federal money that they receive versus what they spend? So this would mean that this must be with the citizens of the state paying taxes as well, right? Actually, I could believe that because people in California probably on average are higher earners. Same thing with Massachusetts, right? Maybe. You know how you talk about how the right always stands behind its politicians? They do the same thing with their states. I feel like Democrats are so willing to talk shit about New York, California, Chicago, etc. Meanwhile, Republican strongholds like Florida and Texas are adored by all Republicans. Well, it's just the media people, though. Like, I feel like people who live in New York and LA, like, even if they've got some bad things to say, like, they love these places. But the people in the media will shit on it relentlessly. And it's funny because the media people are usually living their, like, best lives. Could California just stop paying federal income tax and see what happens? I mean, the IRS would fuck you, no? States that are the most dependent on the federal government. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Remember all those projections back in like 2010 that Republican voter numbers were in such decline that they would never win another election? Russia actually rolled and smoked us with those bot farms. Yeah, but I think it's important to realize that Republicans, largely on accident, stumbled into better positions than like the far left media talking figures had. Because on the far left, they were like, okay, we have to be concerned with the blacks. We have to be concerned with, well, not Asians, fuck them. We have to be concerned with the browns. We have to be concerned with the Native Americans. We have to be concerned with all these different demographic groups of people that all need our hits. And Republicans were like, okay, well, we're never going to win those voters over. So fuck trying to appeal to anybody. Let's just like focus on like this shit that like all the white people like. But the problem is, not the problem, the benefit is like they just focus on like general shit. And it's not just white people that like that. And people on the left have this weird assumption sometimes that like, okay, well, we know that all black people hate cops. And we know that all brown people hate drug and labor enforcement. It's like, no, what the fuck are you talking about? Black people like safe neighborhoods. Nobody likes crime. Not even black people like crime, believe it or not. I know it's crazy. Brown people don't like socialism, especially if they fled from fucking Cuba or Venezuela. These people are not coming here looking for socialism, right? So I feel like Republicans stumbled into this like weird world where they're like, okay, let's just try to appeal to like our base. And then like other people, like brown and black and people of other races are like, oh shit, like this sounds kind of base. Yeah, fuck the woke shit and you know, whatever, I just work and whoever the fuck, yeah, let's go. And so like Republicans, did the color of my light just change? Republicans just like stumbled into these like better positions. And meanwhile, Democrats are trying to be like, okay, like how do we ensure that black people know how much we love and respect them by getting rid of like the cops and defund the police and all these like weird, trying to pander to every different fucking group. And it's like, I think that you should come back and let's just like, what do we think of, you know, let's just like figure out like what everybody wants and what, you know, like the general, like build the base up, your base ideology first. And then you can do like a little bit of catering, maybe. That's like the feeling that I have.